Good morning, crypto Twitter, it's Misty Crypto, spreading crypto adoption, showing its benefits to my generation. Shout out to all my people, Gen Z needs to be included, it's really that simple. We are savage, amazed, boss, zesty, making money at the same time, spread peace. I feel empty if you don't include Gen Z, about to change the world, so y'all better get ready. Misty Crypto, I'm never backing down, I got a wax account, you should say it out. So many NFTs, I think I lost count, and I'm only getting started. Yeah, I'm barely off the ground. Misty Crypto, you cannot stop me. My hands are made from diamonds, your hands fall like origami. Never be the boss of me. Bitcoin's all I need. When I say I'm zesty, that's just me talking honestly. Crypto and yum bomb marketplace. I wanna see the more. We gotta go through cyberspace. Leave this world without a trace. Stay faithful a different day, 'cause we partners in the cryptos didn't stay.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Miss Teen Crypto Show. Wow, am I feeling spicy? Am I feeling zesty today? Guys, if you're new to the channel, what's up? Welcome. My name is Miss Teen Crypto. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share the stream out with friends if you're feeling the zest. If you guys are feeling it, drop some 100 emojis in the chat. As always, before we jump into the show, I'm going to thank two awesome sponsors. First, Wax Blockchain, killing the game. I'm going to be giving away a music mogul pack today, so watch out for that. Next, we have Ballet. Ballet, always killing the game, have their really cool and easy to use wallets. We'll be giving one of these away today, so keep out for that keyword to enter in the chat. If you win, I'll let you know. Send me a DM on Twitter with your email address, and I'll send that over to the Ballet team and get you started. I see we have 14 likes. Let's get 30, and I'll drop another NFT in here. Which one will it be? Who knows? You just got to stay tuned and find out. Now, let's jump into today's awesome guest, back for the second time, and I'm so happy. Layah Heilpern, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, it's great to be here. I'm also simultaneously watching on YouTube. What you're doing is amazing. It's super cool. You're going to have to show me how to do that thing in the chat where you ask the question. Oh, you did a poll. Yeah. You're going to have to show me how to do that. But yeah, you've had some amazing guests recently. So congrats on everything that you're doing. I'm super excited to be back. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. Like, you're really cool. I really love what you do. You speak your mind. You're a true woman of passion, and I respect it. And, you know, we've been kind of friends since I started on Twitter, and you pre-blue check, because now, like, you're a cool kid. You're in the cool kid blue checks club. I get it, whatever. But, yeah, you've been really killing it. If you guys have not seen Layah, I'm going to drop her Twitter, her YouTube. That's all in the description as well. Please watch her if you don't already. On Charles Payne, Making Money with Charles Payne, our guy on Fox Business. Like, you know, over every news station. How has that been for you, just being like going on TV lately?
It's a lot of fun because right now we're obviously in a bear market, so everything is a lot slower, work-wise, content-wise. You know, there's not a lot of news happening. So it's like a great way to like feel productive for me. Yeah. I'm like, great, I've just done this. Okay, cool. Now I feel super productive. But no, it's good. Especially actually the British channels have been really interesting because, and I tweeted this the other day, but the UK tend not to champion freedom in the same way that you find in America. You know, like in America, you've got your guns, freedom, and all this stuff. Like, we don't really have that kind of mentality. And when you tend to have that mentality in the UK, you're often sort of like demonized as like what they're called football hooligans or like neo-Nazis or things like that, right? Like, that's how the UK tends to like demonize people who tend to like be very pro-freedom, patriots, and things like that. However, like, something is massively changing in the UK, and they're talking about crypto and they're talking about CBDC. So I've been on GB News a lot talking about central bank digital currencies, LBC, talk radio. And so, yeah, it's really great to see more British people sort of come around to my way of thinking. Of course, I'm not a neo-Nazi or a football hooligan, you know, I'm just like a freedom lover that, you know, wishes people would be empowered and take personal responsibility. And sort of reject like socialism, and you know, you're sort of not allowed to do that in the UK. So it's really refreshing and nice to see that conversation happening and also to be a part of it.
Absolutely. It's really great that to see the kind of narrative changing within the media. I mean, especially since we've been being active in the media space and Bitcoin and crypto, you've just been seeing like people just slamming it, calling it a complete scam. And now it's more like, okay, so how is this really going to impact us? And, they have to kind of embrace it. I don't think anyone really has a choice anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Hang on, my brother keeps calling me, and it's disrupting my
Come on,
stream.
Gideon. We should
I know.
have had him on here too.
We could do it next time. We could do it
Yeah.
next time. I keep declining it and he keeps calling. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And I think that, it's super exciting to have these conversations. And I think with more and more stuff going on in the world, people are waking up more to the need for decentralization, whether it's like simply just, like censorship on social media. And then they're more interested in having, decentralized platforms, like whatever it is, the way the world is going, crypto, Bitcoin, all of this is just becoming so much more obvious for people.
Exactly. And I would love if you could just give people a little bit of a background of yourself as well and how you got into this space for maybe if they didn't watch the last episode. Guys, if you did not see the first episode I did with Layah, please scroll down the Miss Teen Crypto Show playlist after this. It was a really good show. Give it a watch. Go on, Layah.
Thanks so much. So I'm actually, I feel like I'm going to look at the camera. I don't know. It feels sort of weird.
No, you're good.
I'm actually a journalist by trade. So I went to university, studied journalism. When I was like 20, 21, 22, I used to work as a journalist in London. I used to work as a journalist in Malta, in Paris, Barcelona. And I worked for many different places as an actual like on-screen journalist. But I kind of like fell down the Bitcoin rabbit hole because I got offered a job in Malta and I was working as a finance and crypto kind of correspondent. And I basically learned just all about it. And then I fell in love with it. And I kind of also just fell in love with like the lifestyle that it brings, living wherever you want in the world, making a lot of money, kind of the whole idea that like, you don't have to work a 9 to 5 and be out the house before the sun rises and be home before it sets in order to make good money. Because that's what I saw in Malta. I saw a lot of people making a ton of money while also having a wonderful lifestyle. And so that's like, was like the beginning. And then the more and more I learned about it, and I'm very politically inclined. Like I'm a libertarian, I'm very pro freedom. Bitcoin just made a lot of sense. And so I wanted to just work anywhere in the world, live anywhere in the world, really just I wanted to be the sovereign individual. Like I wanted to choose where I worked, be in control of how much money I made, be in control of like where I lived. I always want like above average. Like I've always wanted more than average, never want to settle for average. So I worked really hard to kind of get that. And I think like, crypto was like an amazing way to improve my life in all areas. So yeah, and I'd say I've achieved basically everything that I wanted to achieve when I was like 19, 20, 21, like my early 20s, like I've achieved everything that I wanted very, very quickly. So now I'm sort of like at a point where I'm kind of maybe moving a little bit and figuring out like my next move, my next thing,
Yeah, your next chapter.
Yeah, like I had like these like serious, probably the same kind of goals that you have, right? When I was like 19, 20, 21, I was like, this is what I want. This is where I want to be. And like, I've done all of it. Like I achieved all of it very quickly. Yeah, it's great. But now I'm like entering a new chapter and it's really exciting. And I'm very excited to see where that takes me, where that leads me. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really, really interesting year ahead.
Absolutely. And I really like that you kind of stepped out of that traditional 9 to 5 kind of mentality and you wanted to work for yourself. Was this, like at the time when you did this, when you had this idea in your head, did you ever think it would be with something like Bitcoin and crypto, something that you aligned with so hard? Or were you just going to find a way no matter what that was?
I think it kind of just happened simultaneously because I never thought that there was anything wrong with the 9 to 5. I never understood the problem with it. I always saw my dad, for example, my dad was always the breadwinner of the family. My mom's a teacher. My dad used to work in banking. So like I used to see my dad leave the house at like 6 a.m. and be home really, really late at night. Right. And so like, that's what I thought was needed in order to make money, like make like an okay living, like not even like super
Luxurious,
millionaire.
yeah.
No, just like a nice, normal middle class, but then when like I said, when I got to Malta and I saw crypto and I saw like a beautiful way of living, I was like, wow, actually you can do both. And so then I was very inclined to do both. And when I want something, I don't stop, whatever it is. Like it becomes a mission. I have like a fixation in my head. Like when I want something, I'm like, that's what I want now. That's my obsession. And I will not sleep peacefully until I get what I'm obsessing over. Trust me, that's what I'm like. And so I do tend to manifest everything that I want, basically, because because I see it and I'm like, that's what I want.
I feel like we're really on the same wavelength. I do the exact same thing. Especially once I found crypto, I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to make this work. And then I just started like doing all this crazy stuff and kind of at this point now. And it's a really good way of just like being yourself and truly following your dreams. And you, like you said, you really accomplished all the things you wanted to accomplish. And I want to touch on manifestation for a moment. What is that like? How do you describe in your own personal experience? Because I feel like it's a little different for everyone. Manifestation. How do you feel you handled this? And how do you feel like you kept your focus to achieve those goals that you were manifesting?
Yeah, it's a great question. So like sometimes when you really passionately desire something, it like hurts. Like it's a frustration, And so
Yes.
you have to get it out. And the only way to get it out is to write it down. And so I have, and I still have it. And I think to this day, I'll never throw it away. I have this little pink book and I used to write on the left side what I'm grateful for, because it's like prayer. Like you can't just go in being like, I want this, I want that. Like you have to be grateful, right? Like in prayer, you'd say like, God's the best, whatever, you're powerful, you're all seeing, you're the only God in the world. And then you move into what you actually are asking, right? So I kind of took it from that. So I started to write like everything I'm grateful for. And at the time when I started, like I had so much to be grateful for, but I was in like a bit of a shitty place. So like I didn't have it in my own vision, like a lot to be grateful for. So I'd write something as simple as like, the dinner my mum made me was just so amazing, or like, that call that I had with that person was so amazing. I'm so grateful that, I could work from this cafe with this friend, like whatever it is, like just saying thank you basically for all the great things. Now, once I'd done that, and I'm talking you dig deep, okay, the littlest of things, whether it's you got your nails done, they look quite nice. That's why I mentioned it. Yours are nice too.
Thank you. I got it done before.
Yeah. So whether it's like, you got your nails done, whatever it is, but you write everything that you're grateful for. Then on the next page, I wrote my visions, and I wrote it as if it had already happened. So I wrote, I make money. I have this. I have that. I live here. I have these friends. I have this experience. This is how I feel about my work. This is how, this is how people perceive me. This is what I'm doing. By this age, I achieved this. So say at the time I was 23 when I was writing, I'd be like, by 25, I did this. So like, I'm like writing as if I'm like 30, 40, like, writing backwards. So
yeah, already established.
Yeah. So I'm like at 25, I already achieved X, Y, and Z. Let me tell you, I fucking achieved it all. Like everything that I've written in that I achieved. And above and beyond. Like I wrote, I want to make X amount of money a month. I achieved more than that. Like,
It's amazing.
So so like you have to just write it. And if it's all you desire, it's going to come to you. Like it's not difficult. Like if it's truly what you desire, then it's naturally going to come to you, because you're just going to gravitate towards things which will help you on your mission. Like you're going to just be doing things that align with that, basically, and like I have new goals right now, like, which I'm not going to get into, but I have new personal goals that I want to do, and it includes work and it includes my personal life and stuff like that. I have like I was worrying, but like about it, stressing and stuff. I'm like, I actually have no worries about it now, because like it's all just gonna come.
Yeah.
Because when you want something and you desire something, you almost become that person. Like, and you basically become that person. It's like, well, how's that not gonna come to you? Like that can't not come if you are that person. And I think as well, like your energy needs to shift and who you are. So like, you got to be a person that's deserving of it. you know?
Yes.
Like you can't be doing like no work and like wanting to make, let's say like, I don't know, 10 grand a month, right? Like
Exactly.
you can't be doing no work and, you know, you have to be a person worthy of $10,000 a month. Like you have to be a person worthy of that kind of money, you know? What does that mean to be worthy of it? It means to be somebody that's focused. It means to be somebody that's smart, intelligent, unique, doing something different, you know, providing a lot of value. And then by the time you get $10,000 a month, you're just like, yeah, obviously. Because like, look at all the shit I'm doing. Like that's insane, you know? So you have to become that person and then the manifestation will come to you.
Absolutely. Of course, we can't just sit home and be a couch potato all day and say, "Hey, I want to go be a millionaire. I want to be on every news station. Everyone writes about A, B, and C." No, you got to put some work in. Of course, that's just I think people when they think of manifestation, they're thinking, "Oh, I'm just gonna think of something and it's just going to happen." But I think you need to put things in motion, like put that energy in the universe, so that way it just all circulates and it culminates into that one moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And like again, I don't want to get too much into like what I'm sort of very much focusing on at the moment. But I had a weird thing happen to me today, and I was like really stressed about what I want, and because like I said, once I have this in my head, like that's it.
Yeah. It's
once
just
it's in
game
my head,
over.
like yeah, it's game over. I'm crushing. Like it, once something's in my head. And so I had this thing in my head for a while that I was being like really stressed about. And then look, my light went out. I need to turn it back on. I'm looking at my reflection.
You're fine.
And then, so yeah, I had like this thing in my head that's been like really stressing me out. And then I had a phone call today with someone. And then like something just like clicked for me. And I'm like, oh my God, like it's going to come. Like, of course it's going to come. Like something just clicked for me. I'm not really sure what it was. And I think especially like, for you as well, like, you're super young, like you have years and years ahead of you to create so much, and your youth is on your side. So like you have so much time to, try and make mistakes and all sorts of things. So no, I think it's a really exciting time.
Absolutely, a really exciting time. And a part of, I feel, this good energy manifestation is also just like taking care of yourself. I know you're an avid person about being healthy, that being able to help your like immune system fight off like illness by, working out, just being taking care of yourself. And I saw you were tweeting about, like a sunlight hour, and like does that does that really tie into that manifestation type of energy as well? Because I feel like you got to take care of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, like sunlight hour is just so good, and sometimes sunlight hour changes. So at first, when I did the video, sunlight hour was like literally laying by the pool for an hour, and now it's like go on a walk, and that's important for me because I need to be social. Like I like right now I need social interaction. That's personally what I need in this chapter right now. And so I like to get a coffee and then go for a walk by the water, go for a walk where all the cafes and all the restaurants are, bump into people, have conversations. Like I need that. That fuels me, and that's in the sun, obviously. So I'm getting like tanned and enjoying it and the breeze and everything. It's summer. So like, yeah, it's all part of it. And then I can come home. Like I've already been on my walk today. Now I can come home and have this conversation with you. So absolutely. Like you have to take care of yourself. You can't overdo anything. I've been pretty sick actually for the last like 2 weeks. I don't know if you can hear it. It's still kind of coming through.
I hear a little bit of a congestion thing going on.
Yeah, I'm coming towards the end of it. And the reason why I think I've been hit so hard with whatever I had is because I've been genuinely stressed out. Because I've been like, I've had a lot going on and stuff. So that's why I've been like, I think that's why I've been hit hard. But like, it's okay. It's just an opportunity to let go and reflect. Like I haven't been to the gym in like 2 weeks, and that's completely fine because I literally physically haven't been able to. But like it's nice because it's an opportunity for me to just like breathe and evaluate and take time for myself and all sorts of things. So yeah, that's why I don't really mind being like sick or whatever. And it's because it forces you, when you're such a driven person, it really forces you to take a break. And
Exactly.
that break is essential for your growth, manifesting, and everything like that.
I think, yeah, of course, we need a little bit of time off. And of course, like Daddy was saying, we got to drink water, got to have the H2Os in there. I think that's an essential part, got some beverages right here. But, I think we really need to focus more on actually getting that type of sunlight hour vibe. I think we're, especially us and everyone in the audience, all of us are consumed in crypto Twitter and being able to catch up with the news every day. And I think sometimes you need that type of break to clear your mind. I mean, if you're sick, that's not the best case to take a break, but sometimes you need to just turn off your phone for a day.
Yeah, pretty much. Again, I do enjoy when I'm sick because it forces me to stop. It forces me just to break. I always go to the gym. I'm not gonna not go to the gym unless I have a serious reason or a serious excuse. The excuse is I'm genuinely sick. So I can't do that. And so I enjoy it because it forces me to stop. And I'm just not somebody that does stop,
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to get burnt out. And if you don't take sunlight hour, you will get burnt out. So yeah, you got to get your mind in the right place, manifesting in the right place, having the correct beliefs about yourself and your future. And also understanding that this is kind of what I said in previously, but everything will work out for you. If you're doing the right things and you're putting yourself in the right places and you're doing the best that you can, everything will work out for you 100%.
Absolutely. Got to put in the time, got to put in the energy. And, speaking of, energy and putting in that time, you've been spending a lot of time talking about, just Bitcoin, crypto on the news, people asking you crazy questions. I've been watching all these interviews and I think it's funny the questions that they ask because it's just things that, are just basic general knowledge to us. But on the news, it's some woo, a lot of people were asking you about Bitcoin price, are we ever going to make it to that 100K? Are we ever going to make it to the $1 million Bitcoin mark? Come on, man. What do you say to that? Will Bitcoin ever reach 100K? Question.
Oh, Bitcoin's definitely going to hit $100,000. That's just so obvious. I think in the next cycle. But then again, I don't know whether these 4-year cycles are even still relevant anymore, given how much institutional money we now have flowing into this. BlackRock offering spot Bitcoin exposure to their institutional clients. So I don't know if these 4-year cycles are even still relevant, but I do know that Bitcoin is definitely going to hit $100,000 within the next 3 years easily. That is such a conservative prediction. I think Bitcoin is doing great right now. Where is it? What is it? 24. Let me look at it. What is it? Oh yeah, 23.3.
Yes.
Yeah, $23,389.51.
Yes.
I think it's going great right now, to be honest. It's crashed to the high of the previous bull market. I mean, people would have begged for these prices. People have been begging. Not just for 23, 24,000, but they begged for 19,000, 18,000. Yes. They begged, and here we are in the next cycle, the end of this cycle, crashing down to the highs of the previous bull market. And so people just need to be patient. And, if you can't afford patience, then get out of the game. It's that simple. And also, everyone should be able to afford patience because you can buy as little as $5, $10. It really doesn't matter. Put $100 in, I don't know, do whatever you can, but afford that long-term, you need to be able to afford long-term patience. $100,000 is coming for sure.
Absolutely. And I think it's funny that people are oh, Bitcoin went down from 69 to, I think it was 17 something was the low. And people are oh, it's never going back. I mean, I just don't understand that. I mean, I think it's history. It's history for Bitcoin at this point. And especially because people are trying to just take Bitcoin down. Have you been feeling that lately? I just feel that everyone's just really coming after us. Once the dip started to happen, they were no, another thing, more FUD, another thing. How are you escaping the FUD? Especially because you are going on TV and commenting on all of these FUD articles and things like that, these headlines.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most important thing to do is know your facts. So I went on GB News and somebody had said the best thing to do is to buy hard assets, BlackRock, for example, blah, blah, blah. And I'm whoa, bro, BlackRock have just started offering spot Bitcoin exposure, as I just mentioned, to their clients. It's about presenting them with facts. I've had people speak about the environmental concerns of proof of work, but it's like, well, for the very first time, we actually have a way to use energy in a decentralized way, which allows us to tap into wasted energy, which is cheaper and better for the environment. So it's about just like knowing the facts and being brave enough to say something. And I do that a lot. So yeah, it's just knowing the facts, being brave enough to say something. And that's it really. But I think a lot of people just look at the price. Like I spoke with somebody the other day. I spoke with someone the other day at a dinner, and he was like, Bitcoin's dead. It's down, from its high. He was like, Bitcoin's not doing good. And I'm like, why? Because it's down. Like Bitcoin's doing fine. Like it's up 400%, more than 400% since the March 2020 crash. What else has done that? So it's just about tackling them. And he just kept going on about the price. And I'm like, you're so short. You're not thinking, like you're so like short-term minded, and he basically, what he was trying to say to me was like, people that got in at the top, it's doing bad for them. And I was like, you can't measure how an asset is performing based on other people's performance, based on other people's behavior. Like, thank you. Just because he bought in at the top, like that's not a measure of how an independent asset is doing. That's a measure of his dumb IQ. Why are you buying in at the top? This could be the top. The bottom of this market was $3,000, $4,000. We're now at $69,000. You think that's the bottom? You think that's the bottom. Right. Okay. That's a sign of your low IQ.
Exactly. And, I think, it also bothers me that people are only focusing on the price, but I only think that's because that's the narrative that's pushed, is that Bitcoin is only about the price and not about, this whole digital revolution of self-custody and being your own bank. I feel like people are really forgetting about this especially while the bear market goes down.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. But I think it's okay because the more, like we sort of saying at the beginning of the show, like the more governments behave in certain ways, the more people wake up to certain things, right? Like I think the whole thing with Canada was really fascinating. And I think the thing with Canada actually is what really sparked this conversation in the UK, because like it provided the perfect kind of situation for people to understand why you need Bitcoin in that non-custodial way, why you need to be sovereign. So I think the more governments kind of fuck up, honestly, the more people will understand the need for it. I mean, even in terms of like the 2030 agenda, you'll own nothing and be happy. It's like, what do you mean you'll own nothing? Like, I'm going to own my Bitcoin and you're not going to touch it. And you can't touch it because, I dropped the keys in the ocean, so you can't touch it anyway.
Literally.
But yeah, I think, the more time goes by and governments continue to mess up, I think the more people will realize that point of view.
Yeah, I think especially with, governments maybe messing up, I've been hearing a lot of mentions about CBDCs, and that's something that scares me a lot, to be honest, because I think we still have a barrier to entry into crypto. A lot of people aren't really understanding crypto yet. A lot of people aren't in yet, which is okay. We're still early. But then with this push of CBDCs, are we going to have enough time to educate people to the point where they're going to see the need for Bitcoin? Or is it going to take for CBDCs to arrive for people to be like, oh, I need to go get my Bitcoin ASAP while I can?
I don't really know the timeline, and I don't know the timeline of CBDCs, honestly. But I think like as quick as they rolled out vaccine passports is as quick as they can roll out CBDCs, because they're the same thing. They're just digital IDs, which will be attached to some form of behavior. So your freedom of movement is determined by your behavior. So like with the vaccine, if you didn't get it, so the behavior is you didn't comply, you were disagreeable, right? That's the behavior. And now you can't move because you didn't take the vaccine. Same thing with the CBDC. It's like if you spend, I don't know, too much on gas, too much on meat, or whatever's supposedly bad for the environment, then that interrupts your freedom and what you can and can't do with your money. And money is the energy that fuels your life. So without money, you don't have the freedom of anything. So again, they can roll it out very quickly. However, I don't know how quickly they want to roll it out. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure like at what will happen first. But I definitely think that Bitcoin will be like the faster we go, I think the faster the Bitcoin adoption will be. Because people are talking about it. Like I said, I've been talking about it in the UK. The UK, like, people are really discussing this, and it's amazing. And so, people will be like, well, what's the alternative? Cash? Not really, because cash isn't good in terms of this new global world that we're living in.
Yeah.
And so we're going to need something else, and Bitcoin in a non-custodial wallet is probably the best option.
I would say so as well. I mean, we need more Bitcoin adoption. I'm thinking about the next generation here. I mean, we're pretty much the next generation that's going to be kind of spearheading this revolution. And I just, I'm worried. And I think, but at the same time, I'm not, because I think we're more technically inclined to be able to, figure out Bitcoin, NFTs, just this whole decentralized way. I don't know. Are you worried about the next generation when it comes to this?
I mean, the only thing I'm concerned about is the centralization of decentralization. So, things like Solana, for example, is quite centralized. And like NFTs, I like them, but I want to make sure they're done in a decentralized way. Social media platforms, like Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX, FTX owns so much now. Didn't they buy Robinhood or something like that?
I think they had something to do with Robinhood. I could go confirm.
Yeah, you can check it out. But they started buying and bailing out a bunch of different companies. And so now we have this monopoly within the crypto space. And so we're moving from Web 2 to Web 3, but I hope that it's done by maintaining the true essence of decentralization. And that's my concern. I'm not sure whether we're going to maintain that purity of what started the movement in the first place. But then again, does it matter? Not necessarily, because nothing's going to change with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So maybe it doesn't matter, and people are still building on Bitcoin. I know there are social media networks that are being built on Bitcoin. So, not necessarily. But we'll just have to see, because I don't think it's going to be as decentralized as we envisage, or we hope.
Yeah, that's the one thing I struggle with all the time as well. Just thinking about how this is all going to play out. Because, we have Bitcoin, we have, cryptocurrencies like Litecoin, especially because Litecoin has OmniLite. So you could build on top of that with NFTs and things like that to keep it more decentralized. So, I feel like there could be options out there, but I think it's going to take years to filter out. Speaking of the next generation, I know you've been speaking about it. I speak about it all the time, how we kind of need to educate the next generation with finances. I learned nothing about finances until I joined crypto Twitter and started thinking about Bitcoin. Do you think, schools could be teaching about finance in the future? Do you think, the next generation is going to be financially literate?
A lot there. So no,
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be teaching about it because they can't teach about it, because financial literacy means independent individuals who use less control on the government. So there's that. But will the next generation be financially literate? I think far more than we've ever seen before.
Yeah.
Because we live in a time where people have unlimited access to information. We've never had so much information before. And with all these meme coins and crazy things going on with the stock market, with GME and AMC and just Reddit and all this fun stuff happening, it's enjoyable for people. It wakes people up. Dogecoin going to the moon, Shiba Inu. People are making a lot of money. They made a lot of money, and so it empowers, and what it does is it opens up the younger generation's minds and eyes to the fact that there's another way to make money that isn't your 9 to 5. You don't have to be a doctor, you don't have to be a lawyer to make a shit ton of money. You can do some weird shit on the internet, right, and be sovereign over your time and your life in general. So what I'm saying is everything that's going on is waking up the younger generation, and I think they'll then realize, there's more going on here, and then do their own research. You're 19 years old, right?
Yeah.
And you're already talking about all this stuff. That's not what I was talking about when I was 19.
Yeah.
At 19, I was talking about politics for sure. I've always been very political, but I didn't understand. I wasn't necessarily financially literate. I had value for money, of course, but I wasn't financially literate. I didn't understand that the financial system is a scam. Central banks are a scam. I didn't really understand inflation. How does inflation happen? I didn't really understand supply and demand. I understood left and right. I understood that socialism doesn't work. Throwing money at a situation doesn't work. I think, how old was I when Donald Trump was elected? What year was that?
2016. Wow, that
What
was a
year are we
long
now?
time ago. This is
What year
2022.
are we
That was
now?
6 years ago.
22. 6 years ago.
Oh my God.
So I was
Wow.
probably 19. I was 19, I
Oh,
think.
like 19 or 20.
19 or 20. Yeah. I don't know.
Wow.
I was at university.
Dang. Okay. So I was like 13.
Oh my God, tiny.
Yeah, it was like a teeny tot. I remember I was in
Jesus Christ.
social studies and history class, and my
Mm.
my history teacher, Mr. Gianni, shout out. He loved the whole election. He had like newspapers everywhere in the classroom, and I think a lot of us might be more financially aware just because we were very politically aware, especially like in
Mm-hmm.
2008 and when I was even smaller than that. Like I kept hearing about
Yeah, I
Obama, and
remember
then
that. I was
Trump, and
tiny.
like,
God.
yeah. And I feel like we were just like pushed into like this political minefield at such a young age that it's like that's all a lot of kids talk about now is just politics and
Mm-hmm.
money. And I think that's sad.
I mean, it is and it isn't. Like, oh my God. I'm not a cynical person at all. I'm just a very realistic person.
Yeah.
I've changed a lot in the last 2 years, that's for sure. I don't know whether it's COVID or whether it's age growing up a bit, but I don't know. But I think I think it's good. I think look, you're not talking to like a fucking 10-year-old, right? You're talking to teenagers. Like
Yeah.
teenagers need to know the reality of life. And so when I was 19, yeah, like Donald Trump was it was very diverse, the conversation. And so it naturally threw me into this political sphere of where I had to think, what's my opinion on Trump?
Yeah.
And so now I'm having these conversations at university and I'm talking about socialism and trying to explain to them why socialism isn't a good idea. Like we had an election in the UK. It was literally like left versus right. It was literally socialism versus conservatism.
Jeez.
And and I remember trying to explain to people like minimum wage isn't a good idea. Let me try explain. I remember sitting down when I was like 18, 19, having these conversations. And so like, yeah, in some ways having these world events which push you into that political sphere, as you put it, is a good thing because it wakes people up. And so I think the same thing's happening in terms of finance. But because crypto wasn't necessarily such a big thing, like, okay, so Bitcoin, it was 2017, right?
Yeah, like 2016. So it was like right before like all the craziness went down with Bitcoin in
Yeah.
2017, 2018.
Yeah.
So it's
And
still
so
quiet.
yeah, like I remember it and I remember hearing about it, but not like thinking too much of it. But I think this has been a louder bull run than the previous bull run, and I think the next bull run is going to be even louder. And it will bring in more young people, the same way Donald Trump did when I was 19. Yeah, I can't believe I'm not 19 anymore. God, it feels like yesterday.
I
So weird.
I'm radiating my 19ness onto you.
No, you're good. I couldn't do it again. I'm good. I'm in new chapters now.
You really have experienced a lot though, which I think is really great. I mean, when me and you hung out in Miami that one time, me and Layah like went out on a little date, like we got pasta, it was great. And we were just talking about life and growing up, and you've just done like a lot of traveling in your life and you've experienced so much. I mean, like you worked in Malta and obviously you didn't grow up there, and you really just took that leap and left your house. And I think that's another big thing that we're lacking in the younger generation is a lot of kids don't want to leave their house. They don't want to go to college and be in a dorm. They'd rather do online classes and not go out and experience the world. How do you feel that experiencing the world the way you did? Because I know you went to Paris everywhere. How did that impact you? How do you think that made you the person you are?
That's a good question because it's something I'm reflecting on now, actually, because now I'm settled, kind of. Like I'm happy here. I'm not running to any other place.
Yeah.
Basically, like this is it for me. Like like maybe when I'm married, me and my husband will decide to live somewhere completely different, and that's exciting. And I'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. But as like
Yes.
an independent, like unmarried single woman, like I'm not moving anywhere else. It's changed. It's been difficult, honestly. It's been very, very difficult, actually. Like I've been reflecting on this a lot recently, and it's like, if you don't want to leave, don't. I don't think it's for everyone. This is like a new mentality that I've had. Like, stay home, stay with your parents close. Like that's
Yeah.
really nice. Stay in your little community. It's comforting and it's nice. In some ways, I wish that I could have done that. Like my mum's my best friend. She's 9 hours. She's a 9-hour flight from me. Like it's sad,
Yeah.
But and I miss her, and she's gonna come out in a few weeks, and then I'm gonna fly home. Like, but I can't help it. This is how I've been made. This is how God built me, and I want more out of life. Like, I don't want the small town, you know. I don't even want London that much. Like, that's obviously where I'm from, and I don't really like it for many different reasons. And so it shapes me massively. Like, I see things completely differently to how the people I went to school with see things. The people I went to school with send me horrible messages all the time, by the way.
I see on your Twitter.
Yeah, they send me horrible messages all the time, and that's fine. And, you know, it's, in some ways it's like, I don't like, sometimes like ignorance is bliss. So it would be nice to be living in the clouds and stuff like that. But then at the same time, it's like, no, because I want more than average. Like, I don't want small town lifestyle, small town man. Like, no, I want like I'm a very wealthy person. I want someone that's also equally as wealthy as me. And I want, you know, the best view to live from. I want like, you know, the best. I want the money. I want the lifestyle. I want, you know, and I've worked hard for that. So like, you know, it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet, but I think it's only bittersweet right now because I'm still in like transition. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like
100.
I'm still in transition, so it's still somewhat bittersweet. So yeah, I'm like figuring it out, but like, this is how I was made. This is who I am. Like, there's nothing to do about it. And like, you will see the world from many different perspectives. And it's interesting. And it means that you're not going to get on with the people that you grew up with, because if they haven't left home, they're not going to see the world the way you see the world. But some things like you still like keep home inside you, if that makes sense. Like, you still require some kind of like connection to home. And you find that in many different ways. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I think, you know, one of the ways you were saying you found, you know, a connection to home was just finding like certain kind of cafes, like, you know, wine bars, and being able to, because that was something that was popular where you were.
I mean, like, okay, just to be more specific. So something which is like, so I'm Jewish, right? And like, I don't have much, like, I don't really, like, I love my culture and I love my upbringing, but it doesn't define me. I'm far more like just an individual that believes in freedom before anything else. But like, there's a Jewish community now, like near where I live. And like, that's nice. Like, that gives me the option to feel homely if I want. Cause like, Jewish people are the same everywhere in the world. Like, they're built the fucking same, I'm telling you.
Yes.
So like, it's wild. And I've met a lot of Jewish people where I'm based, and I'm like, you're the same as the ones I grew up with. Not in a bad way, in a nice way. So it's homely for me. So it's like, if I was living at home, would I be going to Jewish events? No. But I don't live at home. So like, going to Jewish events gives me a sense of like warmth and like groundedness. It like helps me like remember where I came from, you know. It's very comforting. So that's what I mean. It's like, you travel and you go so far, yet like you still miss like where you came from, you know. And if you can't entirely go back to where you came from because it doesn't resonate with you, you'll find it in bits in your new life, if that makes sense.
I genuinely enjoy that, because I feel the same exact way. Like, even, you know, I go somewhere on a vacation where I experience, like, you know, I went to Texas, I've gone to Florida, I've gone to California, and I imagine myself living here, and I'm like, okay, what would connect to something back home? You know, like, if I left New York, I'd be mad that there are no good bagels anywhere else. I might have to find a bagel spot. And, you know, the Jewish community is very vibrant here in Brooklyn. You would like it. And, you know, do they have any good, like, you know, Jewish delis down in Miami? Like, are those prominent?
Not really, because this is like a Cuban place, right?
Yeah.
And like, there's a lot of, it's very, very Cuban down here, which is cool. So not really. And I don't really care for that. Like, I'm not. No, I don't really care.
Oh God.
I just don't care. Honestly, I grew up with it. Like, I just don't care. You know what I mean? You know, it's not like the Jewish food. I'm just like, like, I just don't care for it. But
got it.
It's more just like the people feel like home.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, if you met a New Yorker, say you were like out living in fucking like, I don't know, Thailand, doing some work out there for like a year, and you met a New Yorker, you'd have the same banter, the same connection, the same, like, you know, you'd eat the same foods, you'd have the same values. you know?
Yeah.
You'd really understand the world the same way. So, and it's the same as like when you meet a Bitcoiner, right?
Exactly,
Like someone else
100%.
that you're in the middle of, I don't know, you're out somewhere in this world and you meet someone else that's like on crypto Twitter and they're really into freedom, you know, and they're
Yeah.
also not vaccinated or whatever. And suddenly there's like this connection. So it's kind of like that, I think.
I definitely feel that when you meet Bitcoiners in person, it's really different. You just have this instant connection with them, and I really enjoy that. I enjoy the connection because then you get to talk about everything that usually people don't understand. Are there people in your life that you're friends with maybe that still don't understand what you're doing or what Bitcoin is essentially?
No, no, absolutely not. Because like no, I no. Because like I live and breathe Bitcoin. I live and breathe like the ethos and everything. Like I live and breathe freedom. I'm a freedom maximalist. So like no, there's nobody in my life that doesn't get it, because if they didn't get it, they don't like me. So like I said, a lot of people I grew up with don't like me anymore.
Yeah.
Like my best friends, I lost a
Me
lot
too.
of friends.
Me too.
Yeah, yeah, and it's literally fine. It's literally fine. Like you should just be yourself, and it's so much more liberating. You'll achieve so much more. Like some of the people say, like you changed so much. It's like, no, I've always been this person. You were holding me back. When I was in your company, I
Period.
didn't feel like I could fully be myself. You know, so that's kind of the way I look at it.
I'm with you, man. I had to separate myself from a lot of people just because they didn't align with what I was doing. They would maybe make fun of what I was doing. They didn't understand. So I was like, peace out, man. Like, I don't got
Yeah.
time for that. And you shouldn't, I know these people come at you that you went to school with. Meh, don't even listen to them. A lot of them, I think it might be they're just like, girl, Layah's doing good. And I don't like that and things like that, because maybe they didn't like your opinions, but now that you're doing well and thriving because you or like as a result of you expressing those opinions, they might get a little salty. It might be a little salt there.
Yeah, but I mean, because like a lot of people that I went to school with are like very liberal in their mentality, and so like liberals tend to be unable to see anything beyond their own perspective. Whereas like I don't hate liberals. I don't hate anyone, right? It's like I understand why someone's a liberal. Like I can see it from your perspective. I think you're incorrect. I think you're looking at a situation very surface level, but I can understand where you're coming from. Liberals can't understand where we're coming from. And so, or where I'm coming from. And so they're unable to be friends with you. I mean, I think you're a bad person. Like I had a girl, like I commented on the whole abortion thing. And we don't really need to get into it on your show, but I commented on the abortion thing. And basically the bottom line for me for abortion is like, it's like, we just need to stop trivializing it. That's like, it's a nuanced situation, but can we stop trivializing it? Can we stop acting like, it's nothing? Cause everyone knows it's not nothing. Right. And so I sort of tweeted down, a girl from school messaged me like, I'm embarrassed to know you. Are you not ashamed of the person that you've become? And I'm like, you're just so unable. You're so unable to like have a conversation and look at anything outside of your own perspective. And that's a shame, and I don't think I want to be like that. So look, like if you strive for greatness and you become great in yourself, then you'll attract more and more greatness. But life is, it's one big like transition of chapters and different stories and things like that. And so I'm not there yet, but I do believe that like patience is key. And if you're more patient and you just wait, then like all the greatness that you've put out there will come to you. And it's always like, any kind of journey of greatness is always going to be lonely, but like it gets better. And I've met so many great people. Like when I came to America in October last year, but we weren't allowed to fly directly into the States from the UK. We had to do 2 weeks in a foreign country. So I did 2 weeks in Mexico. It was fucking shit, but I met a really great girl. Like I met a really, really great girl. We met in like the Beauticians or something, like somewhere in Tulum. And I just made a really great friend, and that's what I live for. And we're still really good friends. She's American. She was going to come down for my birthday, but like flights are crazy expensive, so she can't come. But like we had a FaceTime call the other day. So like I have friends everywhere now. That's the thing, like when you're small town, small mind, you have friends and a little clique all in one area. but they're probably not even your friends. You probably don't even get on. You're probably all bitching about each other behind each other's backs. But when you're big mind, big world, big everything, you have more specific friends, but who are all over the world. Like I have so many friends. Like I have a best friend on Twitter. She's Ghanaian. I have another best friend through Twitter. She's Muslim. I have another best friend. Like I have best friends from all different types of backgrounds that live everywhere. I have another very good friend who we work together doing some crypto stuff, and she lives somewhere else. Everyone lives everywhere, but like we all have conversations all the time. And we all agree with each other. We all support each other. Like my friends, these are like new friends that I have that live everywhere, right? They're sending me birthday presents. Like that, they will ask me like, what's your address? And I'm like, okay, you don't have to send me one, you know? So like, it's better. It's better if you're patient in the long time. You'll attract better quality people if you're a better quality person.
That's a great piece of advice. I think I need to listen to that more. Like 100% I do. Like, you know, because it was hard for me coming out of high school and just like everybody very much disliking me for what I was doing or kind of like making fun of me a little bit. And I just like had to go through that transition of just kind of having to stop being friends with certain people and finding new people. That was really hard. And I'm still kind of going through that a little bit, but I really like that. I like that. Just keep vibing. And like you'll attract your tribe kind of thing.
Yeah, you just have to be patient. And your journey specifically, because you're super young, like you're 19. So, you know, like to feel that way already at 19 is quite young. So, you know, just go with it. I think you'll even probably attract your tribe earlier, maybe even because you're already on that route. Yeah, because you're on that route sooner than most people. But yeah, you live in the States as well. So like it's a big country. A lot of crypto stuff is happening here. So you'll be like totally fine. But yeah, just get rid of people that just aren't on your level. And sometimes this is sometimes how I feel, but like it's just like a mindset. Like sometimes you wish that you were like average, you know?
Yeah.
Or like, I wish I was average. I wish I just went for the normal life. Like it would have been easier, But like, is it? But it's also just not, you know?
Exactly.
Average also isn't that easy either.
Yeah, like, you know, a lot of people were telling me not to do what I'm doing now and to, you know, go that traditional route with college, which is a fine thing if you choose to go that way. But I knew like I didn't want to do that, and people were pushing me that way. And I was like, no, that's not what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And I went for it. So yeah, I think that's like just good stuff. And you did the same exact thing. And you didn't like you were doing the traditional like broadcasting, and then you were like, nah, I'm going to get zesty with it and go my own way. And you did, which was so inspirational. Like, you know, like I want to be like you when I grow up, you know? And even though we're not that far apart.
There's only 5-6 years between us.
Yeah, there's really not that far apart. But still, like, you know, the way you've gone about things and the mindset you have and just the self-discipline you have, I think is just very admirable. And I respect it a lot.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, you'll get there. You'll do everything that you want to do. Just focus, be smart about what you do. And yeah, it's a very easy time to make money actually. And I know that sounds really fucked up. I don't mean today, right this second, we're in a bear market. It's not that easy.
Yeah.
But in general, you know, in crypto over the next 5 years, like there's a lot of money to be made. And we're so lucky that we're here this early.
Absolutely.
You know, you can really set yourself up for life if you know what you're doing. So no, I think we're in a really privileged situation. And yeah, like I said, everything works out, and we have to just be patient and trust that it will work out, because I think it will.
Yes, diamond hands your life, friends, not just your Bitcoin. I think that's
basically.
Yeah, exactly. Let's actually give away this ballet wallet. Do you have a word for friends to enter in the chat in order to enter to win this?
Freedom.
Yay, I like that. Freedom. I wish I like couldn't get copyrighted, because otherwise I would play the song. Guys, type freedom in the chat in order to enter to win for a ballet wallet. And while we're on this topic of freedom, while people are entering this word in the chat, what does freedom mean to you essentially?
Freedom is, isn't freedom just like self-explanatory? Like freedom just means freedom in all areas. I don't just mean like financial freedom. I mean like to do what you want when you want. Yes. You know, you don't have a boss. Nobody's in control of you. It means partnering with people who are happy with you to post whatever you want on your socials, you know, and you can say what you want. You're not tied to anything. That's freedom able to just get up and go anywhere in the world. Being that sovereign individual, I think that's what freedom is. And that's what I kind of strive to try and achieve, basically.
Yeah, I think, the past few years, we've kind of experienced just a wild ride with freedom. And I think, one of the shining lights right now is Bitcoin and just being able to exactly be free in that sense. And I like that you were saying to move where you want. And I think someone else in the chat was saying freedom of movement. Yeah. D Johnny 55. Thank you for that. I know you were talking to Andrew Tate, and Andrew Tate kind of has that freedom mentality as well, where he wants to move where he wants and just being able to go from one place to the other. I think that's something that got me thinking as well, just being able to move where you want. I think that's the way he did it's pretty insane.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew's a cool guy. Yeah, he's definitely set himself up in a way whereby he can do what he wants when he wants. And that's what I'm trying to do myself, live anywhere in the world, do what you want. And yeah, there's a lot of controversy surrounding him, but I don't really have anything bad to say about him. I think he's really cool. It's funny because somebody, a news station emailed me asking me to come on the show and talk about him. I'm like, wow, we've reached new levels. Like, I've gone on dates with men and the men are talking about him. Like, the world is obsessed. I should tell him that.
You should. Oh my gosh.
Honestly, everyone's obsessed with him. It's like, yeah, don't be on a date talking to a woman about another man. I mean, not a good idea.
He took over the internet, Andrew Tate. I want to have him on the show to discuss life, but because I think how he thinks. I love the way people think sometimes, and I like his thought process. But I think just the way he articulates things is very interesting, and he took over the internet, but intentionally too.
Yeah, totally intentionally. Drop him a DM, maybe he'll do it. I'm sure he will. He's very nice.
I've been trying, man.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
You've been DMing him?
Yeah. I've been trying, Top G. There's just so much that, that he talks about that sometimes, it gets me thinking, I watch a lot of different people from different spectrums, but, just, the ideals on freedom and just, being able to have that freedom of movement and also being financially free and how many different aspects of that there are.
Yeah,
buying a house and being able to pay your bills that month, does that really mean you're financially free? I don't think so.
No, me neither. I wouldn't buy a property personally. I don't want to do that. Point. I wouldn't do that. I'm just going to hold my Bitcoin because I don't know what tomorrow brings. I don't know what tomorrow brings. So I don't want to be tied to one place.
Me neither.
I just want to have my Bitcoin and go wherever I need to be in the world. Like I said, the last 2 years were insane.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I don't want to be tied to a place. I want that freedom to go wherever I want, whenever I want, basically.
Absolutely. I feel you. I'm with you. I just want to be able to do what I want when I want, not have to worry. And especially speaking of not having to worry, we have a friend in the chat, 2Effer1. I know you've been here the whole time. Friend, you've won the ballet wallet, so send me a DM on Twitter with your email and I'll hook you up. I got you, friend. You're going to get a little bundle. It's going to be a great little thing at your door. But, I think we need to stay focused on this freedom revolution. Because I know we touched on it before, but just to kind of close out here, freedom, Bitcoin, it aligns perfectly. Stop worrying about price and worry about the revolution that's happening here, because in a few years people are going to be like, oh, I missed out on that opportunity when Bitcoin was 17K, 19K, just like how they said when it was under 10K that they missed the boat. That's a huge thing.
No, it's so huge. And I think we are still early. And people, when Bitcoin was at $69,000 or $68,000, people were screaming and crying, I wish I could buy back at 20. I wish. And we're now at 20 and people aren't buying, which is funny. So yeah, we are super early. And I think it's going to be a very exciting next few years.
And where do you think the space is going in the next few years? Because eventually we're going to get out of this little bear market thing we're going through. So what do you see coming in the next few years in terms of adoption and things like that?
I think like we're gonna see more payment rails. I mean, like we're seeing Mastercard, Visa, all these different intermediaries start onboarding Bitcoin and many other different payment mechanisms. I think cards are the future. Cards that allow you to pay with crypto. And I'm really excited for that. I think as well, like regulation is going to be a huge hurdle. But overall, like I'm not worried and I'm super excited. Yeah, I'd say cards are going to be the next big thing.
I'm with you too. I mean, I went to the mall a few days ago and used Cake Pay, which is on Cake Wallet, and I bought gift cards to use in my favorite stores. And I think that, just being able to use that type of thing, just use your Bitcoin, Litecoin, Monero, buy a gift card, or have an actual Visa card. I think that's key. We need to be able to spend our Bitcoin. We need to be able to spend cryptocurrency. And until people are more, I guess, seamless in the way that they'll just accept it peer to peer, like the way it's supposed to be. I do think that's going to happen soon as well, or just like we're far out. I'm in between on it.
I don't know. I think like merchants, like two things. Merchants will be, well, you'll have the payment rails like MasterCard and Visa, which will allow merchants to accept it. But I think merchants will begin to accept crypto. It will just be obvious. And it's just sort of like what Elon Musk says, like the old need to die in order for the new to come in. So like, say you were to open a restaurant in like 4 or 5 years, you would accept crypto in your restaurant.
Absolutely.
Right. And so's the next generation. They're going to accept crypto in their restaurants. I think it's that simple. The more, as time goes by and the old die out and the young start coming in, they're going to be accepting crypto directly, peer to peer. And yeah, people, I mean, I already settle balances with my friends in crypto. I got a pizza with a friend the other day and I sent her $20 in Litecoin actually.
Hey, okay.
Did, yeah. Yeah, there you go. And like actually, and somebody else actually sent me some ETH for my birthday last year.
Oh.
Yeah. So like, it's going to happen.
Absolutely.
Just got to give it time.
Absolutely. I mean, personally, I'm sick of all the third parties. I don't want them anymore. I just want to send my friends Bitcoin. I take every opportunity to. Like, I'm a crazy person. I'm a nut. Like, every cafe I walk into, I'm like, oh, can I pay you in Bitcoin? And they're like, oh, what? And, and they think I'm nuts, and they remember the next time I walk in there. But we're going to make it happen. Spend your Bitcoin at places. I mean, shout out to Didi Taihutu from the Bitcoin family in Portugal. He has his own Bitcoin beach thing going on there where you could pay at his bar with Bitcoin. He's setting up all those people there to go accept Bitcoin. So, I mean, maybe we got to have like this little Bitcoin beach Portugal thing go down. I think we all got to like hit the beach, tan, and pay for pina coladas with Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah. I love Portugal. I want to go.
Me too.
I'm going to go at some point. Maybe I'll go in the new year. I want to go.
Me too.
I've been dying to go. Yeah.
I mean, like Didi said, it's a great place for the bear market, like cheap food, and it's all good and
Europe's
pretty beach.
Cheap.
Yeah,
so parts of Europe is cheap. Parts of Europe.
Yeah, because like wasn't the euro mirroring the dollar for a little bit? It was like about the same.
I think it is. I think it still is. Let me see.
Is it still? Because I didn't want to say it still is. I'm not 100%, but I know it was like very like even. It's pretty close.
Let's see. It might be it's fucking 1-to-1, I think.
Yeah, so now's a good time.
Let's see. $1. Yeah, it's 1-to-1.
That's insane.
It's 1-to-1. Oh my God. That is wild. Yeah, it's basically 1-to-1. Let me see what the euro is to the pound, because that's also not that great. That's so bad. Wow. £1 gets you $1.19. It didn't used to. It used to get £1 used to get you $1.30 back in like 2017.
Oof.
Back when I was really young, when I was like a kid, because I have cousins that live in New York. So we used to come to New York quite a bit when I was like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we used to always shop in America because it was half price for us. So I don't know if you remember. I don't know. You're a bit younger. Do you remember Juicy Couture was a thing?
Oh my gosh. You don't even have to get me started. When I was like, all I wanted was the sweatsuits and the earrings. The earrings were a big thing for me.
And the handbag and the juicy on the bum. Like,
yes.
So
yes.
British people, it used to be half price. So I think $1 would get you $2, I think, something like that. Or just close. close to almost $2 in like 2000 and I don't know, 5, 4, 3. I don't know. Yeah. So we used to come to America and I'd buy like a Juicy Couture tracksuit or perfume or flip-flops and it'd be half price.
Oh my gosh. Your
now,
purchasing power was insane.
Yeah. Now it's bloody like, yeah, $1.19. That's insane. I'm going to actually type in on Google. When was, what do I type in? When was
a pound to $1?
When was $1 double £1? I don't know.
When was $1 £2?
The dollar exchange rate as high as 1972. Well, I wasn't alive then, but 2000. Hey, let's see if I can get it.
Okay.
10 years ago. Now here we go. Wait. No, I can't find it. I'll have a look later.
Yeah.
Look later. But yeah, it used to be half price.
That's
used to be amazing,
insane, man. Juicy. Wow, I'm remembering so much right now because everyone that was like the purple one was the one I always wanted, and God knows why I chose purple. But I was just like, wow, I really want that purple tracksuit. Were you you were rocking all those tracksuits?
Yeah, pretty much because they were all so cheap. So I had like the pink one with like the brown Juicy on the bum, the handbag. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember. Do you remember Paul's Boutique handbags? I don't know if that was a British thing.
Oh no, I don't think that was a thing here, or at least I don't know about it.
Yeah. So no, we used to everything half price. Abercrombie and Fitch.
Oh yeah,
I used to come here and get it half price. I used to go to White Plains in New York. So my cousins lived in Scarsdale.
Yes.
So I used to go to White Plains Shopping Center. I don't know if that means anything. And yeah, everything was half price. I just can't believe now it's not.
That's so wild. I mean, the inflation here is crazy. I was walking into stores the other day and it was just everything, like a shirt. One shirt was $35. And I'm like, what are we doing here, man? It's like inflation's outpacing everything and it's scary, but that's like a whole other conversation. I know you've been here for a long time and I cannot stop talking to you. I will never oh my God, you're so easy to talk to. Before we head out of here, what's one message you would like to share with the audience? I don't care if it's crypto, life, whatever's on your heart, and then share where everyone can find you. I'll drop those links in the chat as well.
One message. I don't know, buy Bitcoin. Everything's gonna work out. It will be fine. Do you? I'm not gonna end on something too philosophical. I don't know, just be happy. Pick happiness, something like that. But you can find me on YouTube. I have my own YouTube channel where we talk about crypto, Bitcoin, but we also talk about all other things, whether it's like dating, whether it's gender roles, politics. Like we talk about a lot of stuff, and it's all very much empowerment content. That's the goal. So just my name on YouTube, Layah Heilpern, and then obviously I'm on Twitter and I'm on Instagram and on TikTok, and then you'll see me on the news. So yeah, please come over, please follow, and hit subscribe. And I hope you like my content. And yeah, Miss Teen Crypto, thank you so much for having me. It's been really fun.
Of course. Thank you for coming, taking the time out. I know you're super busy. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Congratulations to 2F1. I know you're always here. I'm happy you won today. Thank you to everyone that came in the chat. You guys are absolute icons. Guys, catch me on TikTok as well. I don't know what's going on with myself lately, but I'm like going off on TikTok. So please follow me over there. If you enjoyed the show, please don't hesitate to like, subscribe, share the stream out with friends, and wait till this zesty theme song ends after you're finished dancing for a nice minute and a half. Drop a comment. How did you feel about today's stream? Did you feel the zest that I intended you to feel? Yes or no? Let me know. Thank you so much. Layah, you're amazing. Everybody in the chat, you're amazing. Catch me next week with some amazing guests. It's about to get spicy. Have a great weekend. It's Thursday. I could say have a good weekend. Have a good weekend, everybody. And as always, stay zesty. Peace.
Good morning, crypto Twitter, it's Miss Teen Crypto, spreading crypto with doctors showing its benefits. So to my generation, shout out to all my people, Jesse needs to be included, it's really that simple. We are savage, amazeball, zesty, making money at the same time, spread peace. Might feel empty if you don't include Gen Z, about to change the world, so y'all better get ready. Miss Teen Crypto, I'm never backing down, I got a wax account, you trace. They